Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today, oh boy, do we have lots to talk about. You guys, they are the gift that keeps on giving. They are the worst, and we are going to break down, well, all the news coming out about the liars. I mean, the Harkles, right? So much to talk about, but before we dive into that, first let me have my co-host say hi. Say hi, co-host.
Hello, this is Jay, also known as Dr. Bad Vibes on YouTube and Twitch. I'm here to talk about taxi stuff and how it sounds like we were right on the original video. Yay.
Wow, kissing your own A right out of the gate. I love it. I'm here for it. Tell them what, actually, it was you. You called it. Tell them what you were right about.
Well, it sounds like we were both right on lots of stuff, but the funny one, I was half joking about their security van being the one chasing them, and it sounds like that's basically what it was. They were following them and driving recklessly for whatever reason, but yeah, it sounds like, according to people close to the matter, that it was their own vehicles that were chasing them.
You really can't make this stuff up, can you? They really are the worst people ever. And the gall to think that nobody is going to catch them out on their continued lies. It really blows my mind, breaks my brain a little bit. And we're going to get into some articles just showing again what nightmares they are. But speaking of nightmares, look at the picture here. Another great car ride with them. This looks more intense than the taxi ride they just took. The point I've been dying to make, and I somehow keep missing, is that just think about that she disowned her dad over these alleged paparazzi pics, right? And yes, I've heard the same rumor you guys have, that she may have actually been the one setting up those paparazzi pics, but regardless, it resulted in her no longer speaking to her dad, and here we are with Backgrid coming out, and we'll get into the details, but basically they had the inside information that only could have been given to them from either the Harkles directly or from their PR people, is my guess. Which makes the fact that Doria is just sitting right there with them, I don't know, even worse to me. I mean, I really feel for Thomas Markle in this case, but let's get into Harold and fraud some more, shall we?
So Jen found a good article that has a lot of good points from the Daily Mail from Jan Moyer. Her headline reads, "The near catastrophic car chase is the Harry and Meghan story that's finally broken me." Years from now, people will still be talking about the night when the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, quote unquote, I say, were, according to their own official statement, involved in a near catastrophic 2-hour car chase in New York, resulting in multiple near collisions involving other cars, pedestrians, and police officers. Hit the brakes for a moment to consider how the word near is called upon to do a lot of heavy lifting in this context.
You sound like Elmo with the near far. Was that Elmo or Grover?
Grover.
Oh.
Show me near, now show me far.
The NYPD called, all I can think of is Brooklyn Nine-Nine all of a sudden, but the NYPD called the evening challenging, but without collision and not catastrophic. While the NYC mayor, Adams, said, "I would find it hard to believe there was a 2-hour high-speed chase."
So back to what we originally talked about. A bodyguard for the couple said he saw the paparazzi drive through 15 red traffic lights. Way to keep count. But a celebrity news agency on the scene claimed it was an SUV in the couple's security detail, which was driving recklessly, not them. So shocking that somebody on their payroll, perhaps the bodyguard, perhaps the Kevin Costner to the Whitney Houston, who is either Harry or Meghan, I'm not sure. One of them is, saying this, I'm sure, because that's their employer. But, I mean, that's what we said from the get-go. Like, it's probably their own people. They put them in a cab so they could be photographed. And, they're following them, trying not to lose them. I mean, if you've ever been to New York, there's several things that just do not make sense in this story. There's not room for a 2-hour anything except for getting stuck in traffic. Definitely not room for anything high speed for more than a block. And I could see running 15 red lights because everybody runs 15 red lights, but you would immediately stop at the next the next intersection. And just none of it makes sense. I mean, in this guy, I mean, the only person that's corroborating their story is a dude on their payroll. So, I mean, do the math. Again, it was probably Harry in the back seat, seeing his reflection. He's like, oh no, I see my reflection. 8 more weeks of car chases.
So the taxi driver has come out, of course, and said that claims of a punitive disaster, they are exaggerated. Now, here's my question. We just got back from London, and we noticed in a lot of the taxis over there, there are signs everywhere that say you might be being recorded and CCTV stuff. So my question is, because we went to New York for our honeymoon. That's the last time we've been there. It's been like 10 years. But do they do that in New York? Are they recording? Because I'm going to need to see the recording in that cab.
Yeah, again, in our normal lives, we never take cabs or Ubers or anything. Very seldom. But, I mean, even Ubers and cabs in a lot of areas have cameras in them for various reasons, mainly people barfing in the seats and, being ridiculous. And, it comes with dash cams, too. So surely there's a camera. But then it made me think, where they cater to celebrities in so many situations, are there cabs that specifically don't have cameras? Did they request can we have the privacy cab to respect our privacy, so they can continue their worldwide privacy tour in the right cab and also not film anything stupid that they're doing?
By you saying that, something funny just popped into my head. What if they'd been in a rickshaw? What would that have been like? Chase for 15 blocks or what, 2 hours? Yeah.
It would have been blasting techno music with the LED rope lights, and the guy probably would have gotten very tired.
Yeah. Guys, it's gotten even more ridiculous. Apparently, the Archwell, quote, global spokesperson, without a name apparently, because they didn't list it here, reported that after a year in the Sussex's employ, she had never experienced their vulnerability as much as I did last night. Were you there? Were you even there? Because it was just Harry, Meghan, and Dory in the car. Maybe she felt that way because she was in the security car that was driving recklessly.
So Jen just showed me another article. These jokes still in the New York Times. As more details emerged, the picture became more complicated, wrote the New York Times archly, while the New York Post the New York Post are the ones that stole it. Anyways, while the New York Post dubbed the couple the Duke and Duchess of Hazard. All right, for one, Hazard has 2 Z's, so you screwed up your pun there, bro. I broke that pun first. Yes. Either way, yes, that's the joke. They were being chased by Roscoe and Boss Hogg, and did some cool jumps all around town for 2 hours, is what it sounds like. My main question is, which one was wearing the Daisy Dukes? Was it Harry? Oh my, these are very short.
Oh God. Had to have been Harry because Meghan was still wearing the gold carpet. Which you guys hilariously pointed out looks like bubble wrap. I didn't even notice that, but it does. That's all I can see now.
So Jim was just setting up this photo, and I was like, what the hell's going on in there? I mean, obviously you got the two, Meghan and her mom sitting in the front, but Harry in the back. Is he pretending to be the admiral of the ship with his invisible periscope? I
think he's drumming.
I guess he's using his phone for something. Maybe it ties back to there's a redhead that looks identical to me, following me, right behind me. What does he want from me?
Do you want to shout out Annie on Twitter? Thank you for sending me this meme. I love it so much. But yeah, help, we're being chased. Just normal New York rush hour traffic. Or I guess 2 p.m. traffic, whatever.
So something we talked about off air briefly, and this article brings up. Of course, everyone has been so careful voicing sympathy and understanding of how being pursued by paparazzi, even for 5 minutes at 5 miles an hour, might be triggering for Prince Harry. And we talked about that when we were, kind of prepping and editing the previous video. I mean, yeah, like obviously we know what happened to Diana, and that's traumatizing for anybody because he was like 5 or something, 12. Okay, well, I have my facts straight. So he was. I mean, either way, he was a kid, and old enough to remember. So that's terrible. And continuing here, one can certainly understand how this trauma response might have turned into a higher pitch than most, and why he might have catastrophized. I didn't know that was a word, but there we go. The incident into something approaching a near-death experience, because for him, perhaps that's how it felt. And that's very. I mean, that's very true. I mean, that's something traumatic. He lost a parent to that. I mean, that would be triggering to anybody, and which makes me highly doubt that he staged this himself because one, I don't think he's got the aptitude, and two, like Jen's brought up a few times, that Backgrid app or service, which I had no idea existed. That's kind of, I mean, there's an app for everything. You got people who roll up and put gas in your car now. That is a thing in California, I believe, probably other places. I mean, obviously there's an app that can make the paparazzi show up if you're a celebrity, and it has been tied to Meghan before, so I don't think Isaac Newton has to create a theory on this. I believe that all signs point to that, and it sounds like it's just her manipulating Harry and abusing his lack of cognizance. um But at the same time, it's like he keeps bringing this stuff up. I mean, it's like obviously something horrible happened, but he can't bring up his freaking dick cream without talking about his mom, much less anything else that happens. I mean, and then Meghan's trying to cosplay as Diana. I mean, it's just like everything is just insane. Like I'm not as invested in this, obviously. I'm interested as a bystander because it's insane. It's like I see all this stuff that you all are talking about and seeing, and I'm just like, what the hell? Like, why is this happening?
I suck him back in every time. No, stop it. We're not Peter. No, I suck him back in every time because even more insane stuff like this happens, and it's like, you will not believe this, and he's like, no way. And I can't stop laughing about this one. This one just strikes me as over the top ridiculous, and that's saying something because that's pretty much how they live their lives, over the top ridiculous. But of course, their lapdog dog Omid Scobie was out getting his 15 minutes or whatever, and apparently he now is saying that the initial hyperbolic statement from the Sussex. I'm so used to calling them like other names. It's hard for me to say Sussexes. Has been made by people in an emotional state. So do you see what's happening? I know you do. They're walking it back because it's not going to be able to be proved that it was 2 hours because it's bullshit. And so he's already laying the groundwork that, they were all hyped up and heightened, even though you can clearly see Meghan smiling and smirking in some of the photos, and again, not wearing seatbelts, but they're really hyped up and heightened, and they're in an emotional state. So that way, when it does come out that they're totally full of shit, then this is how they'll cover their tracks. But guys, we haven't even gotten to the good part yet, believe it or not. There's more to this. So Backgrid, I've kind of done some research on them, and the way I understand it is they're like paparazzi for hire. They work with bigger agencies to release photos, that sort of thing. But it's kind of something that, I mean, I've said it before. They didn't just know where Meghan was when she was hiking in the woods or whatever, right? They just happened to be there. They also were the same ones that happened to be there when she was wearing that black outfit and the pap walk she did not long ago with the sunglasses and stuff. Anyway, so Backgrid is involved in this story because again, Harry and Meghan are trying to blame the evil press, the paparazzi, for all this. And I'm just going to go out on a limb here, and we're going to read what Backgrid said because they did put out a statement that's pretty incredible. But here's what I think happened. I think that they probably had a non-disclosure. So Backgrid can't come right out and say, these fuckers hired us, and now they're accusing us of this. But what they did say is that they were alerted to the event and dinner afterwards. Why would they know that they were going out afterwards? Why would they know any of the plans unless somebody in Meghan's camp probably let them know? You see where I'm going with that? So anyway, Backgrid is pissed, and they're speaking out now against Harry and Meghan, and I'm here for it. And Jay, why don't you talk about what Backgrid had to say?
Moving on, I forgot about the best part because I kind of do these last minute. I'm not prepared like Jen. So I'm like, I get all this information sometimes a while before. So I'm like juggling chainsaws made out of stupid in my head. And I forget what's going on. This is the best part. And let's sit down for this. So it starts out, buckle up, unlike they did. like click it or lick it.
Oh, God.
You got to buckle up in a car, especially if you're being chased. Anyways, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's request for footage has been denied. In a fiery letter, Backgrid, the photo agency that captured the footage of the couple's paparazzi car chase, it's a lot of commas, it's a run-on sentence. Backgrid said no. So this is from E.T., Entertainment Tonight, not the alien. He reached out and touched them and said, no. E.T. has reached out to reps for Meghan and Harry for comment. So this made me laugh. Came from Harry and Meghan. Quote, we hereby demand that Backgrid immediately provide us with copies of all photos, videos, and or films, because they had a freaking 8mm film camera out there, taken last night by the freelance photographers after the couple left their event and over the next several hours, the letter read, according to the outlet. In response, Backgrid replied with a letter of their own, and this is my favorite part. So sit back, fire up your Team America theme song or Hulk Hogan's theme song, whatever super American theme you prefer. So Backgrid, quote, in America, as I'm sure you know, property belongs to the owner of it. Third parties cannot just demand it and it be given to them, as perhaps kings can do. Backgrid's letter read in part per the outlet, quote, perhaps you should sit down with your client and advise them that his English rules of royal prerogative to demand that citizenry, hard word, hand over their property to the crown were rejected by this country long ago. We stand by our founding fathers. So they're like, we see this tea you're spilling, and we're taking it out in the harbor and dumping it just like our ancestors did. And probably these are the same people that they were essentially hired by Meghan. I'm sure there are NDAs. They can't say who did it because this could come out. But if this goes to court somehow, that may come out. Also in the letter, Backgrid also said they had 4 photographers, 3 in cars and 1 on a bike. I'm sure that was the one that was the high-speed one. That had no intention of causing any distress or harm, as their only tool was their cameras, according to the outlet. So basically, they're calling the people that were there were calling BS as best they could. I'm sure they're under some sort of NDA or agreement where they can't be like, "Oh yeah, they're the ones that called us." But
they knew their plans.
Yeah, I love their very patriotic response. That made me laugh.
So then Backgrid promised a thorough investigation into the matter. They defended their freelance photographers and cited the new NYPD's statement in their response, claiming, quote, one of the 4 SUVs from Prince Harry's security escort was driving in a manner that could be perceived as reckless. I wonder if that's the car that girl, the global spokesman for Archewell, said it was a harrowing night. I wonder if she was in that car. Anyway, the photographers have reported feeling that the couple were not in danger at any point.
So the one little tidbit that's got the sugars all caramelized is that so reported by Entertainment Tonight, they learned that neither Buckingham nor Kensington Palace will be commenting on the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's claims of a car chase in New York City, according to a source that told E.T. that, quote, since Harry and Meghan have stepped back from royal duties, the palace generally does not comment on their activities. So people are annoyed that now that Charles is in charge and that Harry and Meghan are no longer royals, although they keep using their titles. When's that going to go away? They're not going to comment on them. It'd be like, I mean, you remember Charles looked me dead in the eyes, a couple weeks ago, and he's not going to comment on what I'm, eating for breakfast. Like, that's not how that works. But he's probably trying to protect his own freaking son by not going down this rabbit hole of stupid lies. Like, and what could he say? Was he there? No. I mean, it's just dragging them in the mud again for no reason other than to, make the royals look bad for something they have nothing to do with at all. They're literally in a completely different time zone, an island in a totally different country. They have no skin in this game.
Thank you for that. Exactly. By the way, I love caramelized sugars. That's pretty good.
Say that 10 times fast.
Seriously, I can't. But that is a thing I do see the sugars grasping onto. Oh my God, I can't believe King Charles hasn't spoken out about this. What's he supposed to say? I think Jay's right. I think Charles is just not confrontational. And so what's he supposed to do or say in this instant? My son is a fucking liar? I mean, what can he possibly say? I actually think he's doing him a favor by not commenting, hoping that this will all go away because it's obviously bullshit.
And one more tidbit that we were talking about. So this is all about the car chase, blah, blah, blah. That same night, that hasn't really gotten as much attention for probably obvious reasons, but they had an intruder that was arrested on, like, around their property. I don't know how.
It wasn't even on.
Yeah,
it was near.
yeah, it was like in front of their house, maybe in their neighborhood. I don't know. It sounded like somebody that was like messed up on fun stuff, and he wandered into the wrong neighborhood. But they claimed he was a stalker. So if that were the case, and they actually believe that, remember they have kids, right? Like supposedly. I mean, I guess they're real. Does the Matrix have them? Are they AI made by Elon? If that were the case, that would take priority over a car chase. Well, a 5-mile car ride / chase. Like, obviously they had security at their house, but their kids were there, I think. And why is that not being talked about? Like, why focus on this stupid car nonsense that's obviously not panning out to be what they claimed? Like, what's up with the kids? It's like they have a birthday party, so it's like okay, I'm gonna go hike in the woods or whatever. I'm gonna go play polo. It's so weird. Like, did they just need these kids for
Paychecks?
some kind of paycheck? Are they not old enough to star in their own reality show yet? It's just one of those things that's just so weird about all this. Like, you know, I'm just a bystander, and the more I hear, I'm like, wow, this is insane.
Exactly. As parents, we said, oh my God, if you found out somebody was even near your property and security had to get involved, isn't that your first priority? Like, I don't care if I'd have the taxi driver drive me to the airport, fly home in my stupid curtains gown if I had to. Like, I just find their priorities, again, are all about themselves, and they're continuing to make it all about themselves. So, yeah, I don't understand the logic. There is no logic there. Yeah, so there's just so much insanity to the story, and I'm not letting it go because I'm just completely fascinated with this, and I just want to see what else comes out about this, and we're going to need some of that security footage. So good for Backgrid for their statement. I love that so much that they wrote back and that they're not handing over their stuff. I wish they'd release it to the public. I'd like to see that. The 4 mile per hour car chase. I'm using quotation marks there. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We do have our live chat tomorrow, which is Saturday, the 20th? And it's at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So all you have to do, you'll see a video that says live chat. You just click on that when it's time, and you type in the live chat, Jay and I'll be on mics. We'll read them off and we'll answer questions. We'll do giveaways. We'll have fun. And we'll talk more about this crazy crap because I'm sure more stuff will happen between today and tomorrow, so I'm here for it. But Jay, tell everybody what you're working on and where they can find you.
Well, first of all, definitely come by the live chat. None of this would have been possible if not for the support of everybody watching this. Whether you're a patron, a super thanker, is that a term?
Yes.
Or just a viewer. I mean, just watching these is what made this possible. I mean, Jen just broke 75,000 subscribers. I'm sure it's higher now. And we just want to say thanks to everybody. And we are doing a giveaway. It's going to be very interactive. We got all kinds of cool stuff from England. Jen paid the overweight baggage fee to get it home. And so lots of people show up. We're going to spin a wheel, very loud and spinny, and, give away lots of stuff. We'll mail it to you. And so that's what we're working on right now. And you can find me on my channel, Dr. Bad Vibes, on YouTube and Twitch. I play video games, which totally has a lot of crossover with this audience. That's awesome. So, but again, thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you guys so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Thanks for supporting. If you want to further support, definitely check out my merch. We got Recollections May Vary. Make it make sense. Oh my God, I just remembered. Somebody had suggested Hallucinations May Vary. I think that's pretty great too. That sums up Harry, right? Anyway, so check out the merch. We have that. I'll put a link in the comments. And if you want to further support, check out Patreon. Patreon.com/Real Housewives Recaps. That's where you can become an executive producer and get your shout out. Speaking of which, I'm going to shout out my executive producers now. So huge thank you to Linda. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you to Paige. Huge thank you to Teresa. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Kay. Thank you, Shauna. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Aaron and Frank. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Ann M. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Ann H. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Glynis. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Patty. Thank you, Adair Becker. Thank you to Erica. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Annette. Thank you, Barb G. Thank you to Diana. Thank you, Allison B. Thank you, Jean. Thank you, Lori. Thank you to Pauline. Thank you to KT. Thank you, Jolene. Thank you, Stromboli. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Loie. Thank you, Lucy H. Thank you to Georgia. Thank you, Susie. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Robbins Landing. Thank you to Helen. Thank you to Mara. Thank you, Ashley C. Thank you to Molly. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Sand Squid. Thank you to Rach. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Dee Dee. Thank you, Nina. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Penny. Thank you, Domby. Thank you, Android P. Thank you to Sheena. Thank you, Aaron M. Thank you, Faye. Thank you, Judith. Thank you, Spectrum Mom. Thank you, Vanessa B. Thank you, Christy. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Mimi Heathcote. Thank you, Misty. Thank you, Candy. Thank you, Anita. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you to Bree. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you to Elvis Rose here on YouTube. And thank you to Lori. Well, I so appreciate you all. Thank you if you are on the Patreon. Thank you if you're an executive producer. And hey, if you're not, definitely check it out. We have a lot of fun over there. Guys, I hope you have the best day, and I will talk to you again soon. Can't wait to bring you another video like this. Take care. Bye-bye.